WBC Junior Welterweight Champion Regis Prograis found out something this past Saturday, June 17th, when he defended his title against Danielito Zorrilla. He found out that you can go home again, but it can be difficult. And the fight was difficult. Prograis ended up with a decision over Zorrilla, but it was not a popular sentiment of how it was scored. And that's the funny thing about boxing. It's all subjective when you're looking at those scorecards from the judges. Zorrilla paced around the ring after the decision was meted out. Scores from Joseph Mason, 110 to 117. Craig Metcalf, 114 to 113. And Robert Tapper, who had it 109 to 118. A split decision for Prograis. And many people thought that the Louisiana native won the fight convincingly, but the fight was a lot closer than that split decision, particularly the 117 to 110 scorecard. Personally, I had the bout 7 rounds to 5 for Prograis, but a knockdown in the first round by Zorrilla over Prograis was skipped. The referee didn't call it. Regis ran into a straight right hand that knocked him back, and as he was falling backwards, his momentum allowed him to reach out and clutch Zorrilla around the waist and pulled Zorrilla down to the canvas with him. And I don't know if it was because of the angle that the ref was standing on or whatever, but the camera clearly caught it. If they're going to use instant replay at any expense in the sport of boxing, they should use it for everything to make sure that you cover the sport correctly. That's one thing I'd like to say about that. This is nothing against Regis. This is not an angled thing for Zorrilla. I'm just speaking about the fact that if you're going to include certain technology to assist the sport, allow it to assist to the fullest, because referees can miss knockdowns, so can judges. It depends on where you are when you're looking in the ring. Now, about the performance of the fighters, personally, I felt that Regis was apprehensive to go after Zorrilla due to the punching power of that right hand. It stung him in that first round, but that wasn't the only round that he felt that power. There were a few instances within the middle rounds where Regis got in close enough, and when Zorrilla decided to punch, he punched with some pop. That's why you never saw Regis go for broke against this guy. And he operated behind a jab that he pawed with most of the time, and he wasn't able to score very well. Now, Zorrilla's 5'9" with a 70-inch reach, a little bit of an inch taller than Regis, who has a 67-inch reach. And you could tell the difference in their reach when you watch these men in the ring. I didn't like the fact that Zorrilla wasn't fighting like he was trying to take the title from the champ. But it was obvious that he was more game than what he was displaying. I don't know that he was able to see how much he put Regis on the defensive. And when I say the defensive, it wasn't that Regis was covering up and cowering and moving away. No, it just, he was more calculating in his own particular attack and was not looking to take any risk at all. As opposed when he fought Jose Zepeda, and in that 11th round, even though Zepeda could crack, Regis went in there and went after him. I think the little bit of unorthodoxness about Zorrilla made him a step apprehensive about just engaging. And let's just face it, had that knockdown been called in that first round, this fight would be even closer than what people are saying that they feel it is. Overall, it was a lackluster performance by Regis, and I could honestly say that in my pre-fight video, I talked about this, about hometown fighters fighting in their hometown, defending their titles. We've seen it so many times where a guy can be embarrassed when he goes home. We're not talking about guys who fight at home all the time like Virgil Hill used to do, or even currently you're seeing Tim Tszyu constantly fighting at home. We're talking about guys who have traveled and been outside of home and haven't returned home for a while. We saw it when we saw Katie Taylor come home, and she ended up not winning the fight. And that's the thing about coming at home, because you have distractions and you're not necessarily dialed in on your opponent as much as you want. You want to look good for your fans and supporters and family and things of that nature. But there's a little bit more that should be looked at. And Regis ran into that. Zorrilla, if he had been edged on by his corner, could have performed a lot better. I had taken the liberty to watch some pre-fight video on this young man, and he's not a bum. He's not a guy that is incapable. But on this night, he just fought with hesitancy, and you can't do that when you're competing for a world title. You have to go for it, even if it means that you get knocked out. But you get knocked out trying to knock out the champ. The typical way it used to be in boxing was you had to really beat the champ up to beat him, or knock him out, or knock him down so many times that the scorecards are a foregone conclusion. And that's what we didn't see in this fight. But neither did Regis go for it to do away with this man that I'm sure he had told his hometown folks, I'm going to get him, and I'm going to get him out of there. And that's what we didn't see. But that's okay, because I chalk it up as a learning experience for Regis. And now some of his other opponents out there, future opponents, are going to look at him, now age 34, and feel that he might be ripe for pickings. And if he is, so be it. But now with 30 fights under his belt and a record of 29-1 with 24 KOs, Regis can look ahead to the likes of Devin Haney or Subriel Matias. We'll see what happens. But it's time now for him to really go after it. Even he said that he deserved to win because Zorrilla ran, but he says we have to definitely go back to the gym and work on some things. I agree with both of those sentiments. And at least he's honest with himself about that. But the pressure is on and it's mounting. Boxing can be very curious. And Regis, now that he's signed under Matchroom, he's going to have to realize that whomever he gets in the ring with, it can be costly. Because I'll tell you something, Matchroom puts their fighters in tough, even when it's not supposed to be tough. They find that, I'm in a real battle here. So with that being said, I want to say salute to Rougarou And the fact that he was able to retain his title, hopefully this experience will lead him to be a little more vigilant and determined. Because once you're on top, everybody's gunning for you. It's a little bit different when you're chasing the titles than defending the titles. Because people will fight the fight of their lives each and every time they get in the ring with you and you're the champ. And that's just the way it's always been. I don't think it's going to change anytime soon, but fighters have to know this and acknowledge it and put themselves in the position to be able to be real champions and defend themselves as such. But what do you think? This is Stormy B Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content like this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. What did you think of Regis's performance against Danielito Zarella? Did you feel that it was as close as the scorecards? All but one, of course. Or did you feel that Regis pretty much had it in the bag? Leave comments and let's discuss. One thing for certain, in that division, there's a lot of talent. And I want to see these guys mix it up. Peace to everyone out there. And everyone, please remain safe.